My dad pays my rent. I'm 24, working part-time at a bookstore in Juneau, Alaska, trying to build my freelance writing career. The arrangement is simple. He covers rent, I handle everything else. There's just one condition. Every month, I have to send him photos of my apartment. "Just want to make sure you're taking care of the place," he always says. "Can't have my investment go into waste." I get it, sort of. If I were spending $1,200 a month on someone else's living situation, I'd probably want proof they weren't trashing it either. So every month, on the 1st, I take a few photos. Living room, kitchen, bedroom if it's clean enough. Send them to Dad. Get back a thumbs up emoji and "place looks good, kiddo." Simple. Until 3 months ago, when I discovered what he was really doing with those photos. Before we get into this story, make sure you're somewhere safe. And if you enjoy real, disturbing stories like this, subscribe now, because these only get worse from here. It started with Instagram. I was scrolling through my feed one afternoon in early December. The sun had already set at 3 p.m., and I was killing time before my evening shift. Christmas lights blinked outside my window, reflecting off the snow piled against the building. Then, I saw it. A photo of my living room. Not one I'd posted, not one I'd taken, but definitely my living room. Same couch, same bookshelf, same view of the harbor through the window. The account was called Juno_living_2024 and had maybe 40 followers. The caption, "Cozy winter apartment vibes." My stomach dropped. I stared at my phone, finger hovering over the screen. The photo was taken from the exact same angle I always used when sending Dad his monthly pictures. Same spot near the door, same framing, same lighting. But it wasn't my photo. I zoomed in. My camera has this tiny scratch on the lens. Got it when I dropped my phone last summer. Every photo I take has this little mark in the upper right corner, barely visible, but always there. This photo didn't have it. Someone else took this picture, in my apartment, from the exact spot where I always stood. I screenshotted it and texted my best friend Riley. "This is so weird. Found a photo of my apartment on a random Instagram account. Maybe the previous tenant posted it? No, that's my stuff. My books, my couch throw. This was taken recently. That's creepy as hell. You should report it." I reported it to Instagram, but I knew they wouldn't do anything. Instead, I reverse searched the image. It appeared on 3 different real estate websites, advertising charming one-bedroom apartment in downtown Juneau. They were using my apartment to market other rentals. My furniture, my space, my privacy. "What the hell?" I whispered. I called Dad immediately. "Hey kiddo, what's up?" "Dad, this is gonna sound insane, but I think someone's been in my apartment." "What? Are you okay? Did someone break in?" "No, I found photos of my apartment online, professional photos. They look exactly like the ones I send you every month, but they're not mine." Silence on the other end. Not the concerned silence of a worried father. Something else. "Dad?" That's weird. Maybe your landlord is using your apartment for advertising. They probably have a key. But why would they copy my exact photo angles?" "I don't know. Could be a coincidence." His voice sounded wrong, strained. Like when I was 16 and asked him if he'd been the one to scratch his truck, and he blamed it on a parking lot hit and run. Yeah, maybe. I didn't believe him, and I don't think he believed himself. If this story is already making you uncomfortable, leave a like so I know you're still here, and let's keep going. The next month, I decided to test something. Usually, I took the photos during the day when natural light filled the apartment. This time, I took them at night. Different time, different lighting, same angles. I added a few props too. A book on the coffee table, a mug in a particular spot. I sent them to Dad on December 1st, like always. "Got 'em. Place looks great. Stay warm up there." 4 days later, a new photo appeared on Juno Living 2024. Night shot of my living room. Professional quality. Perfect lighting. Same angle as mine. But the book was gone. The mug was gone. Everything looked neat, staged, professional. And it definitely wasn't taken with my phone. My hands were shaking as I zoomed in. In the reflection of the harbor window, I could just barely make out a figure. Someone holding a professional camera. I started making a list of everyone who had keys to my apartment. My landlord, Mr. Chen, the property management company, emergency maintenance, Dad. I'd given him a spare key when I first moved in, just in case. Dad. The thought sat in my stomach like a stone. No, he wouldn't. He's my father. He's helping me. He wouldn't violate my privacy like that. But that voice on the phone, that strained, guilty voice. I told Dad I was going out of town for New Year's, visiting Riley in Anchorage. Wouldn't be back until January 3rd. Then I stayed home and set up my laptop in my bedroom closet, camera pointed in the living room, hidden, recording. I left on December 30th, made a big show of loading my car, posted on social media about my Anchorage adventure. Then I snuck back into my building through the back entrance and hid in my bedroom, waiting. New Year's Eve, 2 p.m., the shortest day of the year in Alaska. Barely 4 hours of dim daylight. I heard the front door unlock. My whole body went cold. Through the crack in my closet door, I watched two figures enter my apartment. One was tall, professional-looking, carrying an expensive camera and lighting equipment. The other was Dad. As you're listening to this, tell me in the comments, what would you have done? Confronted them immediately or stayed hidden? I stayed hidden. I watched through that crack as my father and his photographer friend spent 90 minutes in my living room. They moved my furniture slightly, adjusted the throw pillows, changed the lighting. Then they recreated every single photo angle I'd been using. The photographer kept checking his phone, comparing his shots to something. To my photos. The ones I'd been sending Dad for 18 months. They weren't just taking random pictures. They were systematically recreating my exact compositions with professional equipment. After they left, I sat in that closet for another hour. My legs had gone numb. My mind was racing. But mostly, I just felt hollow. My own father had been using me, using my photos as templates, using my home as a product. I called him that night. "Harper, how's Anchorage?" "I'm not in Anchorage, Dad. I'm in my apartment, where you were this afternoon." Silence. Long, awful silence. "I don't know what you're—" "I have it on video. You and your photographer friend. Don't lie to me." I heard him exhale. When he spoke again, his voice was different, smaller. "How long have you known?" "Long enough." "What the hell, Dad? Why?" "It's not what you think." "Then explain it to me. Make it make sense." Another pause. "Your apartment is in a really desirable building. Great location, good layout, harbor views. I've been helping some clients find similar places. The photos, they help people visualize what they could have. So you've been using my home as a showroom without telling me." "I was going to tell you." "When? After a year and a half?" "I didn't think you'd mind. You're living there anyway. I'm paying for it. What's the harm?" The harm? The harm was that every time I sent him those photos, thinking I was showing my father I was responsible, I was actually providing content for his real estate side business. The harm was that he'd been coming into my home while I was gone, moving my things, staging my life for profit. The harm was that he saw my privacy as negotiable, as something he owned because he paid the rent. "Did you ever actually care whether I was taking care of the place?" I asked. My voice sounded strange, distant. "Of course I did. That's how this started. I wanted to make sure you were okay, and when I saw how nice you kept it, I thought I could help other young people find places like yours." "By lying to me for a year and a half?" "I wasn't lying. I just didn't mention it." "That's the same thing, Dad." I told him I didn't want his money anymore. I'd rather work 2 jobs and live in a studio the size of a closet than continue this arrangement. He tried to apologize, tried to explain it was a misunderstanding, that he had good intentions. He offered to pay extra to make up for the confusion. But you can't make up for broken trust with money. I changed my locks. Mr. Chen wasn't happy about it, but I told him I'd pay for the replacement when I moved out. I deleted every photo of my apartment from my phone. I covered the windows. And I started looking for a new place. The worst part came 2 weeks later. I was scrolling through rental listings, looking for somewhere I could actually afford without Dad's help, when I saw a familiar photo. My bedroom. The one room I rarely photographed for Dad. But there it was, on a listing for a spacious 1-bedroom with harbor views. Only it couldn't be my bedroom. I hadn't sent him photos of it in months. I checked the date on the listing. January 8th, 5 days ago. Which meant someone had been in my apartment after I changed the locks. I called Mr. Chen. "Did you enter my apartment last week?" "No. Why?" "Did you give anyone else keys after I changed the locks?" "Of course not. That would be illegal." "Then how do you explain this?" I sent him the listing photo. Long silence. "I don't know, but I'll look into it." He never did. I'm moving next week. Found a place across town, smaller, more expensive, but mine, completely mine. No one has the keys but me. No one pays my rent but me. I haven't spoken to Dad in a month. He keeps texting. "Can we talk? I made a mistake. Let me fix this. You're my daughter. Please." But every time I think about responding, I remember watching him stage my living room. Remember the casual way he moved my things. Remember how easily he violated my space. And I remember something else. When I was packing up my apartment last week, I found something weird. A small device plugged into an outlet behind my bookcase. It looked like a phone charger, but heavier, more complicated. I looked it up online. It's a camera. A hidden camera with Wi-Fi connectivity. I don't know how long it's been there. I don't know what it's recorded. But I know my dad is a contractor. He has access to all kinds of equipment, and he had a key to my apartment for 18 months. I smashed it with a hammer. Then I checked every outlet, every smoke detector, every corner of that apartment. I found 2 more. Last night I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. No subject line, just a link. The link led to a private website, password protected, but the preview image was visible. My apartment. Dozens of photos, organized by date. Some from angles I never photographed. Some from cameras I never knew existed. At the bottom of the page, premium content, $4.99 per month subscription. I don't know if Dad was selling access to photos of my apartment or if someone else found his camera feeds and monetized them. I don't know how many people have been watching me live my life thinking I was alone. I don't know what else those cameras recorded. What I do know is that privacy isn't something your parents automatically respect just because they're family. That help always comes with strings, that nothing is really free, and that some violations don't heal just because someone says they're sorry. I reported everything to the police yesterday. They're investigating, but they told me what I already knew. If Dad owned the cameras and had permission to be in the apartment, which he did for a while, it's a gray area legally. Morally, there's no gray area, but the law doesn't care about that. I'm in my new apartment now. I swept it for cameras before I moved in. Nothing. I check every day anyway. I don't open my curtains after dark. I don't take photos of my space. I don't let anyone have spare keys. And every time someone asks me why I don't talk to my dad anymore, I just say, it's complicated. Because how do you explain that your father taught you that even family will exploit you if the price is right? That the person who was supposed to protect you was the one violating your privacy? That every time you think about your childhood, you wonder what else he was hiding? Sometimes I still get emails, links to websites, Photos of apartments that look like mine used to look. I never click them, but I know they're out there. Pieces of my life, scattered across the internet, being sold, being watched, being consumed by strangers who don't even know my name. And somewhere, my father still thinks he was trying to help. If this story stuck with you, subscribe for more real horror stories like this. New stories every week. Lock your doors, turn off the lights, and I'll see you in the next story.